Come back to Sunrise. Well, you did ask that there's not what is wrong in the army, looking inward, having consistent reviews. But they, again, you know that when they say justice must not just be done, but it must be seen to have been done. So if the army goes on with this committee, find out their reports, and people still don't subscribe to it, especially in spite of the rhetoric coming from the army, wouldn't there be something wrong with it?
Well, well, I think it's just, the mindset of some cynics. I would want, us for once to even give some credibility to the military.
In what respect?
Because we are enjoying democracy today. And whether you agree with me or not, it's one of the sacrifices that the military has made, because the military should be seen as the last bastion of our democracy.
How is it a sacrifice that they've made that we enjoy democracy?
I give an example. If there's a problem here, if there's a gunshot here, I bet you will not be sitting down here. You and your cameraman, everybody will pack up and, helter-skelter.
Go for safety, that's natural. That's standard practice the world over.
Well,
you won't stand and watch people fire and then aim at you. No, that doesn't happen anymore.
Well, I agree with you. But again, we're enjoying relative peace today because we have a reliable military.
Let's talk about the counterterrorism operations in the Northeast, for instance,
yes.
where some organizations are concerned at the manner the military carried out its operations there and have called it less than civil. How does this mend? How has the operations of the army in that region able to mend civil relations between the army and the people?
From the reports I get, right now, the army has been able to set up, which I see as especially with the present leadership, their action has been quite impressive and commendable in terms of how, for instance, talking about human rights. I understand most military formations and units of formations now have human rights desks and then manned by military lawyers, such that they look into petitions, even, it's just that people don't really know. I give an example. If you feel your right has been violated by a military man anywhere, you have a right, to try to, as much as possible, to identify such personnel, and then you go into any military formation, ask for the human rights desk or the military police, because they are the custodians of military discipline, and make such reports.
Okay, that sounds interesting, but we'll come to that in a minute.
Yes.
Markway has got a question. I'm not sure if it's in the same line of thought. Markway.
Well, thank you, Chamberlain. I was wondering, would you say this is an afterthought? The military has several times denied the reports of Amnesty International, in many instances calling them blackmail, sometimes cheap blackmail, saying it's a tissue of lies. They have already issued a response, and then how many weeks later we get the Nigerian army saying they're setting up a board? Isn't this what they ought to have done in the first instance before issuing their denials?
Well, you want me to respond to that, Markway? Yeah, Markway, I wouldn't say that's an afterthought, because Amnesty International, well, they are like policemen, all over the world. And we have them. Like I said earlier, you don't take some of these reports hook, line, and sinker, because they could be demotivating. You see a man who has put his life on the line, and you start telling him that don't shoot except you are shot at. You want him to just sit down and fold his arms? I mean, look at all the activities of the terrorists, where you have a little child, a small girl.
But the IPOB chaps don't bear arms.
Sorry?
The IPOB,
Yes.
the group that protests, they don't bear arms.
Okay.
So how do they shoot at the army when they don't bear arms?
Well, you spoke about the Northeast. You specifically said Northeast, so that's why I'm responding to that. But even aside that, where people don't even bear arms, some of them bear dangerous weapons. They bear a dangerous weapon. Sometimes it could be a smoke screen. You see the front line not bearing arms. The people who bear arms could be behind the scenes, and they could lob it in. You see, I think we must try as much as possible.
It is possible that perhaps the Nigerian army believes that, Amnesty International's report is exaggerated. But do you not think that an investigation, an internal investigation, and a careful study of the report would have been appropriate before issuing a response?
Well, I think I agree with you, Mokwe. I agree with you. Sometimes things happen, happen, on the spur of the moment, and people can just react. I mean, that's why, there's no perfection anywhere. So I think people, Nigerians, should be assuaged with the coming up with this latest development. And we should just try and wait and see what results they're going to come up with. I think.
Satisfied with the modus operandi?
Because now the Nigerian military chief is worried that that the relationship of the Nigerian army in certain quarters could have been affected by this report, hence the setting up of this body. He says that there could be some hostile relationship between the military and the civil public in terms of their relationship, and it's like that is already being noticed. Do you think that this board that has been set up will be able to resolve whatever differences there could be as a result of whatever report has been issued in the past?
Yes, I very much believe that, like I listened to the chairman of the board or the president of the board assuring the public, assuring the authority that they are going to be objective, I think their word should be their bond, and I think the report at the end of the day will really help. It will help, as lessons learned. It will help